Hey guys, this is CalNOF with another episode of Mock Talks, and today I'm talking about Shadow, and I would like to apologize to the voters because I didn't really double check this one, but I saw a few requests for Shadow, and I actually didn't think I would do that. I thought I was going to break to the audience in this or a future episode that Shadow is no longer put together, but then just today while going through some old boxes, I found that he actually was mostly together. He might be missing a couple pieces still, but because I saw his body mostly together, I thought, hey, what the hey? I'll rebuild him and do him for a future episode. And then as I was continuing to clean today, I just saw that like the whole day is gone now. And dang, I forgot. The night just flew by, so I'm sorry about that. This one's coming a bit late, so I figured just whatever. Let's get the Shadow one out of the way. So if you didn't know, there's a how-to for this mock, and it's on this channel, or actually it's on the main channel, CalNOF. So go check it out if you want to know how to build this. The only difference between the how-to and this guy right here is this one's missing a few pieces and he has a cape on. That's it. So yeah. But let's talk about my history with Shadow. And by Shadow I mean Shadow Gear 6335. I started out on mock pages on like the coattails of the past generation of Bionicle YouTubers, I guess you could say. So a lot of the people who were big at the time, Edict Arts, BioRock Dude, Shadow Gear, they were getting a little less active. Some of them are still kind of around. Edict Arts is like pretty much completely gone now. There are a number of other people who were around then who have like completely disappeared now. But Shadow was still kind of around then, and because of that, I was kind of looking up to him at the time, and I made a little self-mock for him using the design of Luja that I've referenced before. There was an old Luja chibi mock, Luja is a self-mock made by a guy named Chopper Skull, who's also not very active anymore, but I think he's still kind of hanging around. Either way, I used the same kind of body design and created the first version of Shadow on mock pages, and my first interaction with Shadow Gear was when he commented on it, and I was really excited. I was happy that he commented on it, and it was such a terrible mock. It had dark brown on it still. It was like fat and ugly. And a lot of the versions of Shadow since were pretty ugly. I tried using CCBS parts or HF parts on Shadow before there were black armor shells. So there was a time where he looked hideously unarmored. He was a little taller, but eventually I sort of came down to this form because the bigger one was like kind of skinny and lanky. He wasn't like the real one anyway. And so I figured let's just make all my characters that I have of other people, let's make them all small. And I'm going to focus on smaller characters, and that's why the main Callan you've seen for the past couple years has been this one. Though I have the big one around still. The big one's kind of like the last of my large self-mocks. I can't really think of another large self-mock that I have, honestly. Because I just thought it would work better, and I would be able to spread my resources farther with smaller ones. And so that's what I did. So where did I go with Shadow? Eventually we became kind of friends. Ben Cossie and I were friends kind of first, and then Shadow, we kind of got Shadow in there and Gringat. So the four of us were kind of a group for a while, and we hung out a bit. And yeah, I've talked about this kind of thing before, so I'm just gonna kind of do a quick rundown. Lots of fun stuff together. We did although I felt kind of like I was starting to lose. The Shadow and Cossie, they started to become kind of closer friends than I was, and I still felt like I was kind of losing them. So I kind of wanted to get the Broken Axles live stream started as a way of, keeping in touch with them. Because they were kind of, I think that was also when Jewing came back and they started hanging out with her and they didn't want me around. Which was kind of hurt me, but honest, at that time I was starting to become more friends with IDS and J-Comics and Larnu. So I still had like good friends, but I was a little sad when they kind of were like, yeah, you wouldn't like Jewing, or they wouldn't even say her name, but I'm assuming it's Jewing. But yeah, they were like, you want to like her, and then they just didn't try to keep in contact with me otherwise. But so I formed the live stream as kind of a way of us keeping us together. And after a while, like, it didn't seem like Shadow was too into it. He seemed like kind of tired of it. So it seemed like mostly Kasi and I. And Gringap was into it, but he was also, I don't know, he wasn't as talkative. A little, he was kind of talkative. I can't remember all the details, to be brutally honest. But yeah. Anyway, as there have been all sorts of complications in my history with Shadow, and eventually it kind of came to a head, like around, I want to say mid 2014 is when we kind of stopped talking entirely. He's shown no animosity, and I believe him. He's been kind of kind in his the last time I believe I was referenced was in a podcast where he said he's kind of wanting to back up and be more of a viewer. And although the last situation I had with him was technically was when I did a little joke on this channel where I posted a video of where I kind of poked fun at his sort of like redo. He introduced sort of a new wave of his channel with the Minion character. And I thought that video was kind of corny, so I made like a jokey video about, this is a little silly, and then that became like one of the main things you found when you searched for Shadow Gear. So I thought it would be like a funny joke, since it was right under his YouTube name, like, don't subscribe. I don't know. It was pretty stupid in retrospect, but I thought it was like, I was wondering if anyone would notice it, and within like a week, Jewing made a big deal about it, and I was like, oh boy. People got so quickly like, oh my gosh, it's gonna become another YouTube war. It's like, calm down, guys. I don't think that's gonna happen again. I was 18 or 17 at the time. I was 18 at the time. Like, I'm not gonna get into stupid civil war with Shadow. Neither of us are that active enough to care. And he's already been through all that, and way worse. He's talked about the stories where privacy was leaked and stuff, and it would never get to that kind of degree. I've gone a little long, wow, and talked about a lot of stuff that really isn't important. But I just want to say that end it with Shadow Gear was a good friend back at the day, not so much anymore. But I still respect him as a MOC creator, and hope he's doing well. And ultimately, the better man won because I have more subscribers. Okay, that was really immature. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching. Bye.